there are a bunch of designer perfume houses out there. You have Versace, Chanel, Dior, everyone. So it's kind of hard to narrow down some of the best fragrances from all those different houses. But I have done just that. I have, at least in my opinion, some of the best, most attractive designer fragrances here. And the most popular. These are mostly very, very popular, and you've probably heard of them before. The first one here, I mean, this has to be in pretty much every list. Chanel number 5, the classic, the original. Chanel number 5, delightful perfume, light floral aldehydes with sandalwood and civet in the base notes, also some amber and oak moss. Classic, it came out in 1921, so it's more than 100 years old, and it still smells great. Some people would argue, oh, it's an old woman's perfume. I disagree. This is classic, this is timeless. You can't go wrong with Chanel number 5. And it's also a really good unisex perfume. I know a lot of men wear Chanel number 5. It's a very attractive scent, so you can't go wrong with it, in my opinion. Very good, I mean, from Chanel, it's going to be high quality. Next one here, I discovered this recently, Versace Eros. So, very prestigious looking, shiny card here. I discovered this recently. I knew about it, obviously, but I've smelled it recently. Men's cologne, not cologne, men's fragrance. And it's delightful. It says here on the card, opening notes of mint, lemon, green apple. And you get that right away. The first time I smelled it, I was like, alright, typical, refreshing, aromatic men's fragrance. But then, after a few minutes, it really started to turn into this very, very attractive, very warm sort of fragrance. And that mainly comes from the vanilla, vetiver, oak moss, cedarwood, and broxam. And those contrasting with those very aromatic, very herbal opening notes is delicious. So I wear it myself. It's marketed towards men, but women could easily wear it. Versace Eros, very good choice. Versace is a very prestigious brand, designer brand. This one is a little bit less on the popularity, mainly just because it's not in style at the moment. Shalimar from Guerlain. Guerlain has produced a lot of perfumes, too many for me to name, but Shalimar was one of their first. It came out in the 1920s, specifically 1925. A delicious, smoky, incensey, resinous, amber fragrance. It's definitely, because most fragrances these days are more about refreshing, light, clean. This is more exotic. This is woodsy, very sultry, very good. Again, it could also be a very good unisex scent because it is that fine line between male notes and female notes. There are some florals, but they really blend in with the wood notes and citrus and stuff like that. So there's that one. And then, actually, I'll mention 2 of these at once. I have Invictus by Paco Rabanne, and then Acqua di Gio by Giorgio Armani. And I'm mentioning these at the same time because they both remind me of the same thing. Walking into the mall, the department store, and people, the perfumers that come after you with their spray bottles trying to get you to buy. Smell this and you'll want to buy it. But this is what the mall always smelled like to me. And they're very similar, actually. The same type of perfume. Aromatic, they're both for men. Actually, I think Acqua di Gio is technically unisex, but both very aromatic, extremely refreshing, citrus notes, everywhere, all the citrus notes, and clean linen, ocean notes. You can imagine yourself standing on the beach, you get that saltwater breeze, and some green notes to really freshen it up. And both, Paco Rabanne and Giorgio Armani, very famous designer brands, high quality fragrances, and they're both very well known. very classic, so can't go wrong with those. And let's see, this one from Dolce & Gabbana is light blue. This is for women. There's also a men's version. This is very nice because it's actually similar a little bit to Invictus and Acqua di Gio in terms of how refreshing it is. It's very light. It has citrus notes, mainly lemon, Granny Smith apple. It has some green notes, you know, a little bit of the ocean, a little bit. Very refreshing, clean linen sort of fragrance, and it's great for summer days. And Dolce & Gabbana is just very classic, actually I have another one here, Dolce & Gabbana, the One. Light blue is very crisp, you get that from the apple. The One, which makes it sound very dramatic, the One is more toned down, warm, a little bit spicy, fruity especially. You get that kind of sweet fruitiness from the One. And I like it because I'm not usually a big fan of fruity perfumes, but this one does well because it keeps that sweetness balanced, it keeps it natural. It's not like someone tossed syrup on you. This is still, it has lychee, plum, I want to say peach, and also some warmer notes. I believe there are some wood notes in there along with some musk, so very balanced, those fruity notes, which I appreciate. Sometimes fragrances go overboard with the fruity notes, but this one does it well, which I would expect from Dolce & Gabbana. They, you know, usually produce very good fragrances in the classic Italian style. So there's that one, and it's I think it's relatively affordable. I don't remember the exact price, but I think it's under $100. Don't quote me, but I don't believe it's too expensive. Next one, which is another very prestigious brand, Voyage d'Hermes by Hermes. This is equally very refreshing, it has that same thing as Acqua di Gio, where it's that kind of burst of, you know, fresh air, some citrus notes, green notes, a little bit of ocean salt, fresh air thrown in there. My only qualm with this is that it's a little bit light compared to the other ones on this list, so you'd have to put on a bit more than usual, but other than that, it's very, very nice, very refreshing. Reminds me of a margarita. I don't know why. You know, you got that salt, you got the lime, crisp, cold. That's what it reminds me of. So it's a good choice if you want to be crisp, if you want to wake up. And then last two that I have are samples. Let's see, of Baccarat Rouge 540, and then Miss Dior by Dior, obviously. And these are two very different fragrances, but both are from very massive designer brands. Miss Dior is a classic. The original, Miss Dior Original, came out in 1947. This is different. This is a different formulation, which came out in it came out in 2021. So much more modern. Very nice in terms of if you're looking for very floral, slightly fruity scent. It's sweet, but it has more of that natural floral sweetness. You can imagine, you know, sniffing a bouquet of flowers. That's the sort of sweetness that you'll get from Miss Dior. And that makes very, very feminine, a classic feminine scent. It is more expensive, obviously, being from Dior, but you get what you pay for. And the last one here is Baccarat Rouge 540, which is a relatively new fragrance. I think it came out in either 2017 or 2015. I can't remember exactly, but recent. And it pretty much exploded in popularity in recent years because it's super expensive. It comes in very, very finely crafted Baccarat crystal, and that's not something that's often used anymore. Perfume bottles almost were always Baccarat crystal back in the day, you know, very finely cut French crystal. But these days, not too popular. But this perfume here has managed to do that with their bottles. And the smell itself is very powerful. You really don't need to put too much on to get the desired effect. And it's an interesting spicy fragrance. But it's also has a certain sweetness. It has a certain sweetness from... It doesn't have a lot of notes, but the notes that it does have blend very well together. It has a very powerful saffron note, which I quite like. Makes it unique. But it has a certain warmth. It has that sweetness counteracted with this kind of spicy warmth. So, and it's from the brand Maison Francisque Jean, and they're also known for producing very, very high quality fragrances, arguably higher quality than Dior or Chanel or anybody else. So they really put the time and effort into their work. So that's pretty much all the my top 10 designer fragrance choices, I suppose. So if you have any other recommendations for designer fragrances, you can always leave those down in the comments below. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.